welcome to our latest GoldenGoal podcast. We're carrying on with our predictions, and we've done the top 7, so now we're up to 8th place.
8th place. This is definitely missing out on Europe then.
It was a toss-up between two clubs, but we chose Everton.
Everton is our 8th place. 8th place, which I don't think, to be honest, is that... I mean, when we first made this table, definitely, but I think that now maybe the other club could take over.
Yeah, should we just reveal who it was between?
No. We'll wait until next one. But we'll go into Everton and just discuss our thoughts. I'm not sure about Everton, but I think they have the potential to do well.
I think on paper and with the manager they've got a few players that never really have lived up to their reputation.
No,
I mean you've got Lukaku, who's have the potential to be the new Didier Drogba, and you've got Ross Barkley, who's never really reached the potential he had as a young prospect.
Yeah, which is a shame actually, because I don't think that he's ever missed out because of hard work. Because he clearly, even on the pitch, he's working hard. Maybe it's just
he's missed out on opportunities. I think the Dele Alli, rising up, he's almost kind of replaced him a bit as that young English midfielder.
And I think that Everton haven't really had that really sort of charismatic, outgoing manager like Pochettino and Ranieri and all them.
I think also with the club, it's a bit messed up because traditionally under David Moyes, Everton have always been like a hard-working, grafting traditional team. And then go from a manager like Dave Moyes, who was a great defensive coach.
Oh yeah,
to Martinez, who was all about attacking, all about throwing bodies forward. I didn't really have an emphasis on the defence.
No,
it's almost like you've gone from one extreme to the other.
Yeah,
and they haven't had that stability. They don't have that identity.
I think that was part of the reason why Everton fans were so unhappy last season. Is because for so long they've been used to such a solid defensive core, and defensive line, that they've always been, in our lifetime certainly, they've always been a team that's difficult to break down, whereas teams were just waltzing past them last season.
And it's like in 2013, 2014 when they finished 5th, that was because he inherited David Moyes' defence.
Well, yeah, and I don't think that he was necessarily playing as attacking football as he was last season.
I mean, they didn't score as many goals as they probably should have. I mean, Lukaku scored 24, but apart from that, it just lacked a bit of creativity.
Yeah.
I mean, for a club with that squad, especially as they're stones in defence.
Yeah, it's certainly not a bad squad.
Not at all. But for them to finish, 12th or 11th? I mean, that's their worst position.
I mean, there was a time when they were scared they might get relegated, wasn't it?
Yeah. I mean, I think during the beginning part of the season, and they kind of expect to be in that top 8. You expect Everton to be a top 8 side?
Oh, yeah, certainly. I would say so. Especially from our experience of Everton.
But we definitely think, we predicted them to finish
8th.
So we do think they're going to have a better season than last season. And what's the main reasons for that? What do you think their strengths are currently?
From what I've seen of Ronald Koeman, I think that is certainly one of their strengths, to be honest.
Well, he massively overachieved with Southampton.
Exactly.
He continuously sold their best players. And
last season carried on.
Last season they're only 3 points away from Champions League. They came 6th, which is Southampton's best ever position. I mean, like we said earlier, they sold players such as Lallana and others that you'd think, oh no, Southampton aren't going to have the season. They're continuously written off.
Yeah.
But he kept on coming back, and I just think, and he's also close. He resembles that David Moyes kind of system. Very set out neatly, has a game plan, very solid.
True.
Likes grafters, likes hard work.
You think so? And I mean, he's... The only thing that worries me about the Ronald Koeman situation is that, I think that I don't think he's quite knowing what he's going into. Because Everton's strengths lie in Lukaku, really. Lukaku's a quality striker.
Yeah.
And they have good attacking players around them. But I mean, Southampton had a very strong central midfield. I'm not sure if Everton right now do, to be honest. Because, I mean, who do you have there? Do you have McCarthy, Barkley, Mohamed Busic, Gibson, yeah.
And Barry.
Yeah, Gareth Barry. It's not the most terrifying of centre midfields.
No.
Tom Cleverley. It's not terrifying, is it?
No, but what it is those players are well organised players. They are hard working. Like I said, you can't deny Gareth Barry's hard working. Tom Cleverley was much improved last season.
Yeah, true.
Barkley obviously has a point to prove. So I think these are players that have underperformed.
Same with Mohamed Besic, because he was injured for quite a few games last season anyway.
And obviously in the press, there's obviously a lot of talk about how the players were really disenchanted with Martinez's way of
doing
setting
things.
up his squad. And I think with that being said, they're going to be a lot more happier under the new manager.
You think so?
And they need to get the best out of this team because Everton do have the potential. I mean, their club as well is it's a big club. They haven't won a trophy in years and years and years.
Yeah.
And you think about Everton always used to be pretty much like Tottenham's rivals.
Oh, yeah.
Their battle for the top 6, top 5. And Everton have gone downhill, or Tottenham have gone uphill, and they've got the bigger stadium as Tottenham. They actually have got a lot of money under their new owners as well. They're looking at having a new stadium, so Everton are in a very strong place to establish themselves.
You think they're in a stronger place right now? Well, they're in a stronger place now than I think they would have been. Like, if they had just had the Martinez situation and they didn't have the new owners, if Bill Kenwright still owned Everton and they had the situation last season, I think we would have definitely put them probably at most lower mid-table.
Yeah, I just think there's a lot of optimism. Like I said, they're thinking of moving the stadium. They've got a bit of money now. They've got a bit of money from the Stones as well, from the Stones. I think that was a good piece of business. There's another positive is them signing Ashley Williams in defence.
Yeah, true.
I think what an absolute steal for 10 to 12 million pounds. Absolutely fantastic. A bit of experience in defence is what I think they needed.
Bit of leadership as well.
Bit of leadership skills. Yeah, I just think it's good. But
signing Yannick Bolasie as well.
Yeah, so a bit of excitement as well there.
Bit of flair.
Bit of flair, which I think they needed. I think it was just stagnated play.
Yeah.
And Lukaku was getting increasingly frustrated because I didn't think he had the best delivery last season. A lot of time he was quite out of position trying to track back. But I think there are quite a lot of weaknesses with the Everton side as well.
Same.
Where do you want to start? Well, first of all, their captain has been missed a lot of pre-season, Jagielka.
Yeah.
They don't have that spine as well. Losing Tim Howard, I know he hasn't had a very good last couple of seasons, but they don't have that solid goalkeeper. I thought they would have signed a goalkeeper by now.
Same. I mean, the first team goalkeeper, really, who you have Joel Robles, who,
not very well known.
Well, it's just sort of I mean, you didn't even know who he was before the podcast, did you?
I did literally do my research about him literally a couple of hours ago. Cause surely Everton have signed a new goalkeeper, or signed someone well known. But I was like, no.
Joel Robles.
Robles it is.
And I mean, I know they've signed Ashley Williams, but still, the defence hasn't actually really been shaken up that much. And you know that was bad last season. Their defence was poor.
It was awful. It was I think they let in over 50 goals last season. Yeah, let in 55 goals. And Everton have always prided themselves on being a well-organised, well-oiled machine.
Yeah.
That is quite a bit of a shock. You never would have had that under Moyes.
No,
never. Would
never.
have had that under the Everton of 10 years ago.
I mean, he probably wouldn't have let Stones go either, to be fair. He probably would have tried to keep Stones.
I think Stones would be a big loss because I could have seen him as a potential Everton captain.
Oh, yeah,
and
for
I was
sure.
thinking if they want... Because Everton are a big club. If they wanted to progress, they've got to keep hold of these players. I mean,
exactly.
Ashley Williams is a good signing. I think he's an absolute steal from Swansea City, but still, it would have been nice that... Could you imagine if they
He's
signed...
not a long-term option, is he?
No, it's very short-term, but could you imagine if they signed if he had Ashley Williams and John Stones in defence,
that would have been.
That would have been like a very good centre back pairing.
Yeah.
One with all the flair, one with solid.
Yeah. And then who do you have? Like, would Galloway play? Do you think Brendan Galloway?
He did play in pre-season a lot, so.
Brendan Galloway, and then who would play on the right? Is it Mason Holgate?
It was last season.
Season. I'm not sure whether. I mean, what's the Leighton Baines situation?
Well, he didn't have a good season at all last season.
No,
did
no. Like,
he's still at the club.
That's a bit uncertain right now.
He's getting on a bit now. He's like reaching his 30s, and he's not too old. But maybe he needs a new. He never was really that good. He had one good season under Martinez where he was absolutely phenomenal that first season. Maybe he just needs a new manager. They definitely. I mean, how Martinez got the job in the first place after relegating Wigan, and I just don't know. I think Everton went for like a young, vibrant manager who could stay there for a long time, but I think it's massively backfired. And their progress is stagnated.
I think I can answer you that question of how he got the Everton job, because Martinez that season won the FA Cup as well as getting relegated with Wigan. But one thing that was very apparent that season was how favoured Martinez was with the press. Martinez had so much hype built around him. Like, there was fucking stuff like, when Guardiola leaves Barcelona because he was leaving that season, on the Roberto Martinez on the shortlist. Like, are you fucking kidding me?
Yeah.
When you had options out there. No.
They definitely romanticised him.
They did.
He's pretty much like the Sven Goran Eriksson, like getting all these amazing jobs, and you don't know why.
Yeah.
Because he's gone to Belgium now.
Yeah, exactly.
I bet Lukaku's delighted. That links me on. That links me on to Lukaku and his attitude. He scored 25 goals in 46 matches, which is phenomenal, which is a good return. But he hasn't remained quiet about his disgust towards the manager and him wanting his desired move back to Chelsea.
Which, thing is, if it was under a different manager than Koeman, you'd think, do you know what, like, let him say what he wants, whatever. But Koeman isn't going to stand for that, I don't think.
And that's the thing, if they've got this one big striker, because they haven't got, who else plays up front for Everton? They haven't got anyone.
Kevin Morales sometimes.
Yeah, they haven't got anyone else prolific. So if you haven't got a goalkeeper, like a well-established goalkeeper, and you haven't got a striker that is in the right frame of mind and doesn't want to be there,
you're failing at opposite ends of the pitch.
Both ends of the spine are like failures at the moment.
Yeah.
And he really needs to sort that out. I'm surprised by the lack of movement in the transfers.
Yeah.
But then Koeman never really signed a lot of players to Southampton, and he did get the best out of players that you wouldn't expect out of mediocre players.
Yeah, but you'd be frightened if you were the new owner of Everton and you were looking at that squad and you were like, right, okay, we're bringing a load of money into the squad. We ought to really strengthen. It's like, if I owned Everton, I would be worried that Koeman didn't want anyone, because I'd be like, well, look what you have. Like, this isn't what we're going for here, especially after losing Stones. And I mean, also, not only just losing Stones, they've lost a lot of other key personalities in that dressing room, because they've released Leon Osman, Tony.
He's been there for years.
Been there for ages. Tony Hibbert and Tim Howard. Those are like.
It's like 30 years. 30 years plus.
Combined, that's about 90 years worth of experience.
And also, like, it's 30 years of Everton Football Club, because they've all been there for 10 years and above.
Exactly.
And as we know from, like...
Well, Tony Hibbert's been there for longer. He's been there his entire career.
As we know from, like, Manchester United and Chelsea have lost really experienced players in the last few years. It's not all about what's on the pitch. It's not all about slowing down. It's about having that knowledge. It's about caring for the club.
Well, it's like I was saying to you, that's why I think that Zlatan Ibrahimovic is a bad signing. Because I think that what he brings off the pitch, although you might go, oh yeah, well he'll have experience teaching Rashford and whatever. Yeah, but what is he teaching Rashford?
Yeah.
What is he teaching him? Like, if he's teaching him the kinds of things that he's saying and stuff, I think that's a bad thing, to be honest. But like having personalities like Osman, Hibbert, and Howard behind this scenes, probably very positive thing. Especially Tony Hibbert. Like, I don't know if you ever saw Tony Hibbert. He was a proper leader.
He was, and I used to love seeing him when they used to play Liverpool as well, and getting the boys fired up.
And he never scored a goal ever. He never scored a goal for Everton ever. And then on his testimonial, they made him take a penalty.
Which he scored, right?
Yeah, of course. It was a good penalty as well. I was surprised.
I think from doing this list, it does go to show. I do think there's a branch from the top 7 clubs to the 8th. When you look at organisation, you look at the team.
Yeah.
Because even when we were discussing Leicester in our previous one, they'd lost Kante, but they'd signed the right players. They're going in the right direction. I know Everton are going to be better this season, but I think there's a massive difference. I think there's a massive gap.
Yeah.
Now you used to have like the top 4 all those years ago. It's almost as if there's like a top 7 now.
Yeah, true. I mean, and that's positive.
It's possible. It's better to have 7 teams challenging and being up there than there would be 4. But I think with Everton, with the money and their owners, and I think in a couple of years' time, I think they're on the right path to progress.
And bear in mind, Everton have a fantastic youth academy as well. They have a fantastic youth academy. I mean, I don't know if you saw Brendan Galloway during his first season under Martinez, I think it was. No,
I saw glimpses of him, to be honest, but I didn't focus too much.
He's a really talented young fullback. Same with Mason Holgate. He wasn't produced by Everton, but he was developed by Everton. They're like solid. They've got a really good conveyor belt of youth coming through, which combined with hopefully all the money that they're going to get from this takeover.
See, if I was a big businessman, I would definitely invest in Everton because I think they've got so much potential. They've got the history.
Sleeping giant.
Yeah, they're definitely a sleeping giant, and I can see I think their money's getting invested in the right areas at the moment. So I think that in 2-3 years' time, it wouldn't surprise me if Everton were in that top 7.
No.
And being that new team coming up.
Definitely.
Are there any players you're particularly interested in watching?
Seeing?
Yeah. Who's your players to watch?
I'd be interested in seeing how Kevin Morales does, because I'm a big fan of Kevin Morales. I think he's really underrated as a player. I think that on his day, he is spectacular. Like he can do both. He can score goals and produce goals. And I think that if he gets the best out of him by Ronald Koeman, which I think he probably could.
It's just about consistency.
Yeah, it's I think that's his problem. That's Kevin Morales' problem.
And who's more of a consistent manager, Martinez or Ronald Koeman?
Ronald Koeman, exactly.
For me, it's Ross Barkley. I think he can be exceptional. I mean, he scored 12 goals in 42. He was really fundamental last season. He had a good season last season, but I think him kind of going out the spotlight a bit and more the attention focused on like the Tottenham midfielders, where he's kind of like lost his place in that England team.
Yeah.
I think he's really got a point to prove.
I think he does as well. Definitely.
So I think it could be quite interesting. I mean, he's 23 now, so it's about time he steps up to the plate. Like he's kind of he's no longer a young player anymore.
No.
He's not 20, 21.
No.
He's got a couple more years, and I want to see him make those stages. I don't want him to be like another Theo Walcott. I want him to reach his potential.
It's like, do you remember when he was younger and he always used to score a fucking amazing goal and it would be all over everywhere?
Yeah.
Like Ross Barkley has just scored this amazing goal. I don't think you're going to get that anymore because obviously he's older.
There's just more expectation now because of his age.
Yeah.
And he needs to start meeting those expectations.
Should we just chat a little bit about Koeman though?
Yeah.
I mean, like, do you maybe think that the lack of transfers for Everton is because he has faith in the squad?
It's difficult because you'd think he'd want to stamp his own authority onto the squad because it's not his team.
Yeah.
I don't know. I'm pretty shocked because he came in. He was brought in. I think Everton were very good in that sense that they got him right at the beginning of the summer.
Yeah.
So he's had all the summer. So if he wanted to make transfers, he could have.
Well, this is what I mean. He's not an idiot. He would have signed people if he needed them.
I just really rate him as a manager. I think he'll be impressive. I think he will suit Everton's style of play perfectly. And he's obviously seen something he likes.
Yeah, he must have. Like, I mean, it's difficult to say because you don't know whether the lack of transfers is like a good thing or a bad thing.
I think only time will tell with Everton this season. But
Yeah.
I don't know. Like, he was just so fantastic under Southampton that I'm feeling fairly confident for him.
I suppose. But isn't it also kind of scary that we have put Everton at 8th? And, I mean, I don't know whether you agree with me, but I reckon that Everton could finish anywhere from 8th to about, 17th, to be honest.
Yeah, well, I don't know. I think also, like, he's been given a lot of faith. Like, he's been given a 3-year contract as well, Koeman. So I think it shows that they've got faith in him.
I suppose.
Anyway, I think that's about it, really.
I think that's all we have to say about Everton. Interesting discussion about Everton. They're an interesting club this season. It'll be really really good to see if we're completely wrong and Everton just come out and absolutely smash everyone with the team that they have.
I like Everton because they're just a traditional club that have been a big part of the Premier League identity.
Yeah. I don't think they've ever got relegated, actually.
Never got relegated from the league. I think they came close just before the Moyes era, but no, I just think they have the foundations to be something brilliant. And like you said, couple words describe them as a sleeping giant.
Yes. Oh, alrighty. Well, thank you very much for listening. Let us know your thoughts on Everton down below.
And where they'll finish.
And leave a like, leave a comment, and please subscribe.
Alright, we'll see you guys later.
Alright, we'll see you guys later. Alright, bye-bye.